I don't think the fascination with traders and trading is as much about the money as it is about the risk. Traders make a lot of money, but traders lose a lot of money, and these people are looking bankruptcy in the eye every day. It's raw capitalism.
You got to have sort of a big set of cojones, if you know what I mean, to survive in an environment where it's dog eat dog.
I've seen guys come in there that are sons and daughters of super wealthy families and blow through $50 million in 5 years. I've also seen guys come in there who are total street fighters and had great instincts, and in 10, 15 years make $20 million.
Definitely, there's more guys get blown out than make it.
I want to make money. That's all I give a shit about the other. I just want to make enough money that I'll be happy.
Look, it ain't rocket science, but it isn't easy either. It's a market.
Let's money.
Like any other kind of market, we're buying and selling things. In this case, it's commodities. At the New York Board of Trade, we deal in sugar, cotton, frozen orange juice, cocoa, and coffee. In our pit, we trade coffee. But we're never going to touch the coffee or see it. We're just agents who help make the trade happen between the people who have the coffee and the people who want it. We do this by selling future contracts. A futures contract is an agreement to buy or sell a commodity for a set price sometime in the future. Let's say it's January, and you're a coffee farmer in Brazil, and you've already planted several tons of coffee. For some reason, you're worried that the price of coffee beans will go down before you harvest in May. So, you call your broker in our market in New York City to sell coffee futures to guarantee a price today for when you harvest later. Now, obviously, you're going to want your broker to get you the highest price he can. On the other side, let's say there's a coffee roaster in France. He needs a bunch of coffee beans to roast in his factory. But he's also worried the price is going to go up before May. So, he'll call another broker in our market to say he wants to buy coffee futures to lock in a good price today. Now, obviously, this guy wants the lowest price he can get. So your broker goes into the pit and tries to sell the coffee futures at the highest possible price. While on the other side of the ring, the French roaster's broker goes in the pit and tries to buy the coffee futures at the lowest possible price. When they agree on a price, the trade is done, and each broker makes a commission on the sale. But the real money for traders is in what we call speculation. We put up our own money and our smarts and our experience to make calculated decisions on whether the price is going to go up or down.
My trading stake is my own. It's my cash. And should anything crazy ever happen where I took a large hit, yeah, I'm the one that has to pay for it.
Every time you walk into a ring, you need to know where you're going to buy and where you're going to sell.
We buy and sell tons of coffee futures. We do this by selling future contracts to each other.
Coffee, of course, you can move the market a lot on a very small order, and it happens almost every day.
I buy 2 March at 1,500, and I want to sell 2 March at 1,550.
We'll buy it at 3 and sell it at 310, and buy it at 3 and sell it at 310.
We're talking dozens of transactions a day. So much that a little difference in price can mean a lot of dollars.
Now, speculators often get a bad name, but the futures market basically makes our cup of coffee the same price throughout the year, not really low right after the beans are harvested and really high just before the next harvest.
So all of us guys in these colored jackets are trading coffee futures. Each colored jacket represents a trading company. There's hundreds of people on the trading floor, and they trade over $1 trillion worth of contracts every day. And in the coffee pit, believe it, coffee. We've been doing it this way for over 100 years, yelling and using slips of paper, no computers, face-to-face in the pit. Now let's get to the real story.
And I don't think there's a lot of ways to transcend classes in our country anymore. I think Wall Street and these open outcry markets are one of the last ones.
My name is Joe DeGuizo. I'm a floor broker, and I trade coffee. You know my friend Tony, right? You know Tony? This is signed by all of them. This is signed by Al Pacino. What's her name? Sharon Stone. Uma Thurman and John Travolta. When I was 17 years old, me and my friends, we went to Puerto Rico. And we ordered like all kinds of hamburgers and drinks up to the room. And actually nobody had money at the time. And one of my friends signed the bill, Joe Hollywood. And that's where the name Hollywood comes in. See the headrest? That's nice, right? That's nice.
That's it. The decision's made. The lower May is 20. The lower May is 20.
In my younger years, I was very aggressive. I looked upon myself as a leader in the marketplace, like pushing the market up or knocking the market down. And for the most part, you know, most of the guys followed me or, you know, they lost money. Guys that make it down there, believe it or not, never went to college. They have to have street smarts. They have to react. Like you got guys following charts and everything. They're not risk takers. I don't even see how they make money. All they're doing is reading what it says on the sheet and going 50 bid. By time you figure out what this is worth, I've already sold it or bought it and made my money or lost my money. And by the time you figure it out, it's not there no more.
I am one of the largest coffee options locals. And I've been trading coffee now for it's almost 10 years now. Went to college at Harvard, economics. Harvard's more about who you know when you graduate than what you learned there. Maybe not the ideal way to get an education, but it worked for me. You know, I was a football player in college, or at least for the first year. Then I was a drunk. So I'm engaged. My fiance is Polish. She's a fit model. It's July 21st in Krakow. So it should be nice, yeah. I get to work in the morning, and I'm the guy that goes up to the bull, who's long and is always long, and explains to him why the market's going down. I will go to the guy that's bearish and explain to him why the market's going up. I don't do it because I'm trying to make them doubt themselves. I do it to gain information. People on the floor, they're not brilliant. You know, I'm not brilliant, but I interact with people. I tell them what I know, they tell me what they know. We have open relationships, we're friends. We are all there to make money from the order flow that comes over the phones. So we're competing with each other for every penny that comes into the ring. And we have to remember that on the floor, it's a zero-sum game. One of us is gonna make money, the other one is gonna lose money. It's just the way it works.
You're the king of the world. You control the power to affect the price of a commodity, coffee, sugar, cocoa, whatever it may be, throughout the whole world. If I've got the counter, I just have that power in the ring that I can bid that market up 50 points or 100 points and move the price of coffee 1 penny per pound. Everybody in the world is paying 1 penny more because I just decided I wanted the market to go up. So there's a power trip there. There's an ego there. I mean, the opportunities are there to make untold amounts of money. And if you're just conservative and smart about it, you can make a very good living without being greedy.
I'm going to guess that the average guy on the floor made anywhere from $200,000 to $800,000 a year. And the biggest guys on the floor probably made maybe $5 million trading coffee in a busy year.
Someone I used to know made $6 million a week. and it was a good week.
I'm a 50% owner of a company called Mercury Futures. We started it 6 years ago, my partner and I, and we went from being the smallest company on the exchange to one of the biggest.
Always professional. Always professional when I'm here. I grew up in a small two-bedroom apartment in Staten Island with no backyard. I never had a barbecue growing up. I never had a swimming pool. And that's why when I came out here, I want to give them a life that I didn't have materialistically. Early on in my career, I became a member. I was doing quite well initially, and I got a little out of control, trading too big, and it became a disaster, and I lost all my money. At one point, we had nothing. Like, we went into Burger King, and they didn't have the 99-cent Big Mac, so I had to leave.
Well, you couldn't go. Couldn't go. It's okay. Not having that today.
And,
Open a can of peas.
Broccoli, peas. Coinstar at the A&P, throw your change in.
Yeah. Just put a change and get the
That
ticket.
kind of stuff. But we really had no money. So my wife and I went to Arizona just to try to do something with a friend that I had out there.
It had nothing to do with the business.
Right, and I realized being broke really does suck. And I can't make it doing anything else. So after 6 months, we decided we'll come back, and I went right back into the ring. If you can remember those days when you want to act a little crazy down there, that's what brings you back to earth and grounds you again. Because you never want to go back.
I am an option trader. I've been doing it for 2.5 months. Went to University of Connecticut, graduated with a finance degree, and wanted to come down to New York and try to make money. That was the only thing I wanted to do. I am being backed by 2 guys. They're hoping that I make them money and I make myself money. If I lose more than the $50,000 they put in, then I'm responsible for it, and the contract will be broken.
The life of a trader in the beginning is very difficult. I have to be prepared not to make money for a while. If I succeed, I know it should be a very good life, but I mean, there's really no way of knowing in the beginning if I'm going to do well or not.
I would definitely like to make like $500,000 to $1 million a year if I'm going to succeed in this. I'd like to be comfortable enough that I can basically do what I want without having any money problems at all. I'd definitely like a boat. And eventually, hopefully, I'll get like maybe a beach house or something like that. In New York City, you definitely have to have money to date some of the finer women I do. I love being down there. It's such an unconventional place to work. If this doesn't happen, I would really despise going back to working like a 9-to-5 job.
That's it, fellas.
I'm a broker's clerk, punching in all their trades and making sure everything clears in the right houses, the right accounts and everything. The clerks basically get 100 a guy if they do locals and stuff. So if you have 5 guys, it's 500 a week.
I'd rather have the brain of a parakeet in my head than have this guy's brain.
Right. You see what we trade here? This is coffee options. Look what he's doing on here. He's trading stocks when he should be trading this. That goes to show you who has a peanut as a brain.
A peanut has a brain. Let me tell you.
There you go.
Let me tell you. I give you on LSD. I have more common sense than you. All right?
Keep trading that.
Cujo has a better thought process than you.
What the hell is Cujo?
What's the Cujo? Read a book sometime. You
that
might
movie
find
Cujo with a dog?
Yeah, the dog. Yeah, right. I'd rather have Cujo's brain in my head than you.
I'm still learning. It's a learning experience, you know? I'm not the smartest guy there is. There's a lot of guys that are very into the technical support and everything that are a lot smarter than me. I give them credit. They go home every day, you know, go on a computer, they look at charts, they see what was trading last year. Listen, I personally, I don't even have a computer. All right, fine, I don't know much about the market, but at least I'm there. I learn as much as I can while I'm there. I broke my to get where I came from the streets. I had nothing. My mother and father got divorced. I had my own apartment at 16 years old. I'm not just telling you this. I had nothing, zero. I did everything on my own. You know, I had a pretty rough life.
Come on, I'm here. I'm here to trade that trade. Trade coffee, cocoa, sugar. I'm here, kill me. That's it, fellas.
Hopefully I'll do well in life, and I really want my kids to look back and say, hey, look, you know, that was my father. He really struggled in life to get where we are, so us kids today could live a better life.
Jump. This is my new hobby. It's my skateboard. Bam. It's my longboard, actually. I don't know how to do tricks on it yet, but I think you're supposed to. Anyways, ladies, get in with us from the ground up. House in the Hamptons, 2 years. I have to admit, there's something about being like young and rich before your time that's like super appealing. Love it. The day that I got my badge was a proud moment for me because I knew that I would never be anybody's clerk.
Hey, Chris, earlier you sold 2 at 310.
I started trading about 4 or 5 months ago. Things have been going well. When I first started, I lost $1,000. I had a hard time sleeping at night, and now it's like, whatever, it's not that big a deal. When I'm 45, if I'm on a beach in the Caribbean, that could be good. I like to think that every week I get better. It's a step in my life right now, and if it works out, I'm definitely going to keep going with it. For me, you know, this is it. I think it's a young man's game.
It's a 3-hour job, 3.5-hour job, and let me tell you, you better have all your wits about you, and you better get sleep the night before, because it is strenuous, very, very strenuous.
Most traders I know have had foot, leg, or back problems at some time.
July, 10 to 10, July!
The big strain is your voice. If you have to yell as loud as you can to someone on the other side of the ring, the strain on your voice can be amazing at times.
You get polyps that actually grow on your vocal cords.
You don't sleep, gives you ulcers, upsets your stomach. You know, it's unbelievable what the stress could do to you. I think what most people don't realize is how mentally stressful it becomes. You know, you change your mind 1,000 times during the course of a day. Going long, going short. What do I think here? Does this affect it? And that's what wears you out, I believe.
Even before the July! Even before the...
There was an old man, I don't even remember his name to tell you, but he was screaming, he was screaming, he was screaming. All of a sudden, it's really not a funny story. The guy actually grabbed his chest and fell to the floor. Now it's nothing. I've been there for 8 years. I've seen 3 or 4 guys drop.
I don't think people could handle doing it for 8 hours straight or 7 hours straight.
Oh, yeah.
It's just too much.
To do this business, traders use a century-old system called open outcry. The louder you are, the more recognizable you are, and the more skillful you are. It's so loud in there that we use hand signals. A hand signal in an outward motion means sell. A hand signal in an inward motion means buy.
Alex stands here, these are his hands, and he gives hand signals like it's 10 bid at 20, 20 bid at 30, and this is 80. Nice. They'll give him orders, and he'll give it to the big guy that executes them.
When a seller finds a buyer, they will yell, buy him.
I get a lot of recognition on my sheer size. It's easy for someone on the other side of the ring to see me.
I'm about 1 foot too short, 5'4", not very tall. Certainly not extremely loud. Not as loud as they can be, anyway. So I've overcome this. I have my lime green jacket with the cheetah spots. So I'm a trading animal. I think the floor is a unique place where you see total integrity. If I say I buy it from you, I bought it, boom, done. It's finished. Transaction is over. And I don't need a contract, and I don't need a lawyer to sign a document. And that kind of honesty is hard to find outside of a trading floor.
It's kind of like an antique way of doing business, but the customers actually prefer it that way. The whole notion of price discovery, I think, is best served by these markets. Still, even with all the computers. So consequently, we stay this way. We stay the open outcry system. It's just New York and Chicago left in the world now.
NYBOT's face-to-face coffee exchange has been around since 1882, but the internet and growing use of electronic trading threatens to make it obsolete.
Well, I've covered trading in one way or another since the mid-90s, and since then at least there's been talk of floor trading going electronic. In fact, the talk has been going on so long that it almost became a joke for traders, that it was always the thing that was going to happen next year, but it never did. The doomsday that was coming but never arrived. What's different now is that there's actually a shift where more of the trading these days takes place on computers.
The market ultimately will dictate, if they want humans down there trading for them, the humans will be there.
You know, they've been saying that we're going to be electronic for 20 years now. It's probably nearer than farther away, but we're not there yet.
I went to Wharton, I went to Penn. In 1990, I got a job with an options market making firm in New York. I ended up in coffee futures, which I never thought I'd be in, and I ended up staying there. Most of my classmates that I went to school with at Wharton work at like jobs for big investment banks. You know, they have decent salaries and really big bonuses if they do well. But they're in their offices at 7 a.m. and they're there till usually 7 or 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And they're there on weekends too. So although they have decent livings, this is like being a rock star. You walk into work at 9 a.m. and you can conceivably be done at 12:30 or 1. And if it's a busy year, you can make just as much money. The market doesn't care if you are the son of a Goldman Sachs partner. The market doesn't care if you are a high school dropout from Staten Island. They just want to trade with you and try to make money off of you. If you're successful in your job in other areas, say if you're a really good accountant or a really good doctor, you've gotten there because you've worked really hard and are smart and have spent the hours and attained a certain amount of success. In trading, you can be a total alcoholic, kill somebody, come to work the next day and get rewarded by making 15 grand if you make the right decisions. When I started in that pit, I was like this golden retriever puppy walking into a pit full of attack dogs, and I got attacked. I was smart and aggressive, but these guys were just freak fighters. One day, this trader, he basically just came at me and attacked me, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna beat the out of you. And I just snapped, and I said, you know what? You want to take me on? Come on. I ripped off my jacket. I went up to his face. I grabbed him by the shirt. I said, you want to beat the out of me? Come on, let's go right now. I'm tired of this. You know, come on, in front of everybody, let's go. And the pit went wild. Everyone was screaming, yeah, boy. And from that moment on, I had respect.
In the beginning, I got quite frightened by the aggression level. I was concerned that at first that they weren't going to trade with me in coffee because I was the only female in there. The thing that strikes you is you walk onto the floor and you say, look at these guys, look all around you. And all these guys are making a living doing this. You think they're that much smarter than you are? And the answer is probably not. And I can do it too. I mean, it really is unreasonable that women haven't tried this before. It's a very, very level field for women. There is no glass ceiling. You can go as far as you really want to go. They'll be happy to trade with you any day of the week. Actually, they'll take joy trying to think that they got you. Of course, you're supposed to be smarter than they are and not let them get you.
Go away. You got the whole ring to go in now.
In my opinion, it's not a place for women because men are very cruel and they're dogs.
You're gonna get pushed, you're gonna get shoved, you know. I mean, they're gonna take it personal when I elbow them in the head. They might.
The guys, as beastie as they are, do respect women and do not try to hurt them.
It's a man's job. I don't want to say anything about women. I mean, I love them. But in the heat of the argument, things come out. And with a guy, it's back and forth. You're a bully, I'm a bully. With a woman, oh, okay, now she's filing charges. Oh, Lord have mercy.
They are a lovable bunch of guys. Of course, they'll kill you as much as love you, but they will trade with you. I could never work on the floor while I was married to my last husband. Anything that wasn't revolving around him and his welfare and his needs would bother him. I figured if I backed down, I wouldn't be attacked. A marriage that is based on aggression, which is totally frightening, totally. So you think I'm worried about these guys in the pit? But I mean, come on, if I got out of that, I could trade on the floor. I mean, that's a piece of cake. I mean, come on. Easy.
Forget growing up Gotti. This is growing up Hollywood. What's up?
I'ma steal my soul. I'ma come my steel. I'ma handle my
Ever since I was small, I used to light up fireworks for the 4th of July. Now that I'm getting older and I want to start doing it less, it's out of control because they're doing it more.
All right?
My sons are some of the best paper handlers on that exchange, and that's the truth. And I'm not saying it because they're my sons, because if they were no good, they'd know about it. If they make a mistake, they know about it. If they were any more aggressive, I'd have to put chains on them, like this. Like this. They're like pit bulls. So I don't know where they got it. I'm a very mellow guy. I'm a nice guy. I don't bother nobody.
The cops are outside.
This year, the place got nobody can let us spark. You know what? It's either what, this is the war this year, next year it's a different war. It should be World War, that's it. No fireworks, no fireworks. Whatever fireworks.
You're a freaking detective. What do you give kids lighting a sparkler off? Are you kidding me or what? I consider myself a pyrotechnician. I'm doing it for 30 years. License or no license.
It's a lot of work. This is a real sloped piece of property, so to build this pool into it took a lot. I've been on a bad run for the last 2 to 3 weeks. It's hard to get up and go to work on days like that. Every day I've gone to work and I've lost money. I probably lost $250,000 in the last 8 days. When you think about that in real money terms, it's horrible to do that. All right, Lulu, what do you need? You want soda to drink? All right. This is the stupidest thing ever. This little thing. It looks like I'm flipping a piece of chicken.
I don't have, it must have come with them, and I don't have it.
Yeah, plastic tongs.
Outdoor, one of these.
Yeah, outdoor ones. Thank God I'm lucky that you don't like to shop. So
Well,
it's worth out good.
See, that's why I don't have one, because I can't spend money right now. So that's why you'll have to deal with this for right now.
Do you mind passing me a piece of the pepperoni, my love?
Here you go, honey.
Thank you.
If you let it affect you every day, it'll kill you. It'll tear you up. The guys that it affects lose their whole lives.
It's very hard trading on your own, you know. You could lose a lot of money. I made a couple thousand in my account, 5,000, 10,000, 8,000, you know, over a couple months. And then, you know, you get a little greedy and you risk more and you put on more trades. And then you lose a couple thousand in one day when you lose $3,000. And then sometimes you're like, oh, you know, let me try it again. And you try to risk more and you lose double of what you lost instead of just stopping. My wife hates this job that I work. It changed my whole life as far as stressful and being aggravated all the time, because it's very hard to come home from work. I lost $1,500 for the day, or I lost my whole week's salary, and I'm gonna sit down at the table with my wife and, hey, be merry, drink wine. And, you know, it's very hard to do that.
Yeah. I'll tell you something.
It's great. Love it. The brokers themselves are the ones that make money. Let's face it. The problem is he has a limited education. So he's constantly trying to make up for it, catch up, working odd jobs, working nights. That's in a way, it kills his marriage. You have to work weekends. You work weekends as a bartender. You're not home. It ends up hurting your marriage. That's what happened then. In the long run, it hurt him.
Your wife should be with you no matter what, whether rich or for poor, in sickness and health. They should really obey the priest when they say that. I am sorry, you know, for yelling at her and coming home and having an attitude. I give my wife a lot of credit for putting up with me and, you know, through all the years or whatever. You know, we've had very hard times, but, you know, I do love her a lot, and I hope to see my future with her later on and try to enjoy life with her.
Right now I'm thinking of what I can do to make money. It's obviously not working for me right now. The first month went really well. Then we really started to die, and the price of coffee, I believe, went from like $1.25 all the way down to 90 cents. The stupidest thing I did was probably not ask for help.
Yeah, see? This is why he's gonna lose money one day. Right here, see that? This is a 5-point option. You could have paid 5 points for it. Always cover 5-point shorts.
When you're down there and you lose money, you definitely feel like you're getting beat up every single day. You definitely want to reevaluate what you want to accomplish in your life and stuff like that. And this is probably still the best place for me to be. I really don't want to work 12-hour days, but I feel like I need to make some money soon because I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't know what to feel.
As a member of the exchange, there's no benefits, there's no pension. They don't support your retirement. Doesn't really give you a future. It's up to you to make your future.
You don't, work Monday through Friday, you get an $800 paycheck. Monday through Thursday, you might be up, nice chunk of money. Come Friday, you give that chunk back plus. So what'd you work for? When things are good, you can drive around Ferraris. You know what? You have 2 bad months. You're like, oh, I wish I could get rid of this thing.
I've seen people lose everything.
Yeah.
I've seen people leave and never come back, and
sometimes you see a guy who just goes down so many times and you just wish he'd just give it up. It's too hard to watch after a while. Maybe the guy's just doing stupid. Maybe he's just taking risks he shouldn't be taking.
The number one thing for me is discipline. Not trading with or gambling with your mortgage or rent money, and just kind of having a pile of money that if you lost it, you would be okay. That you don't have the nervousness that I can't lose this money because I have to pay my bills this month. There's going to be another market tomorrow. There's going to be another opportunity tomorrow.
Last time you talked to me, I was getting married. And I'm single again. It's a long story that's probably not that interesting. But we ran into a bunch of problems. And, like, I'm not willing to ever say that anything is completely over, out of the question. I've been through and seen enough times where things are going one way and next thing you know, they're going the other. The wedding ended up getting canceled. Things just were really rough at that time. You know, I'm sure I'm a much different person to be around when I'm making a lot of money, as opposed to being down. And, you know, it's a gambling mentality. When you win the jackpot, you go out, you spend tons of money, and you act like an idiot. But it's fun, you know? And when things are going tough, you tighten the purse strings and you live the way you should.
I think there are a lot of guys in the pit who attain a huge level of success, financial success, really quickly, more so than they would ever achieve in any other job that they might have held. And they subconsciously think they don't deserve it. I think that's a big problem in the pit, and I've seen it a lot, especially with some of the newer guys who are like instantly successful. Either they don't deal with it with therapy, or they'll just self-medicate with drugs or alcohol or whatever. And it does come back to haunt them, because it's pain, it's unresolved pain.
John! John! Hey, watch the line, Flatwood!
So things were going great. I'm a new guy, I'm learning, I'm making money. And all of a sudden, I get kind of maybe a little bit of an ego, and I take on a position a little bit bigger than what I should have. Fitness test is Paul. So to make a long story short, I got smoked. I'm sorry? I had to like borrow like $20 from my roommate just to eat lunch that week. You'd like to schedule a personal training session? I got the second job. I kind of had to because of money reasons and everything. I started the job probably like a month and a half ago. I come here like 3 days a week, like 1:30 to 9:30. The money's like $10 an hour, which sucks, but I needed the cash. I think earning an hourly wage, it's humbling, and I think I know the value of work. And so, you know, when you may have a really great day, you don't just go out and spend a lot of money. And there's gonna come a time when my paycheck from here is like insignificant, I'm hoping. But I think it's gonna be good, because it's gonna remind me not to lose my head.
When he has a good day, I can tell almost immediately, because he says, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I think, okay, good. It's gonna be a good afternoon. And then some days he opens the door, he goes, "Well," and then I know it's a bad day.
There's nothing to eat, I'm starving.
There have been a few times where he's just been like not making money, and that has been difficult because he becomes a little bit morose, depressed. He likes to control me in all these little ways, and no, I'm just kidding.
She's recording this.
Well, Piglet.
Being happy with yourself, I think, is part of being disciplined as a trader. It helps me a lot that I'm really happy here with Nathan. All those things kind of add up to just like a general level of happiness that if I maintain that happiness, I do well at work too. I spent my entire professional life growing up in that building over there. When we lost it on September 11th, all of us just as easily could have been in that building. I lost a very close friend and business partner in that, who was having breakfast at Windows in the World that morning. But from that day on, I looked at the people around me who were complaining and upset I said, how dare you be unhappy? How dare you be miserable? You're here. You're lucky to be here. I just felt especially committed to living my life as fully and as happily as I could.
In 2006, the Intercontinental Exchange, an all-electronic trading company, began negotiations to acquire NIBOT. Some people on the outside say that the introduction of computerized trading will make NIBOT more efficient, generate more business. With electronic trading, you're sitting in an office pressing a button, you're following charts. You don't see any expressions on anybody's face, and there's no broker-to-broker contact.
So I'm gonna buy 500 of these.
The fact that I don't know who's on the other side makes it harder for me to gauge the information I'm getting. Electronically, I can't see why he was buying or selling and what that said about that person's opinion of the market. All I see is the buy and sell.
Yeah, I mean, it's like being in the pit, but you're just, I mean, you could have the squawk box, which is literally like being in the pit. And in terms of errors, it's better because everything's on an IM. You have a record of everything, and, you know, I would guess that coffee, sugar, cocoa, cotton, I mean, at some point, it's all gonna go electronic.
Hey, here's my name. Termination of seat lease. January 12th. Gone. I decided that I didn't want to struggle anymore. My lease was up in New York City, and I also knew the floor was probably going to go electronic soon, and so it may not be a bad idea to get out. I think I only technically lost $47,000 in the actual trading losses, but between a draw that I'd taken out just to live on for a little bit and the expenses, it was like $68,000. It's working.
Did that open?
Of course it opened. Maybe not.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
It's difficult, you know, having him home on a regular basis. I mean, we've taken over the house. I mean, just the two of us have completely taken over the house. His bedroom is now my office, and so he doesn't really have a space of his own. And
okay.
But I do like him. I do like him around. He's very handy.
Are we done?
He's very handy.
Are we done? It's good because I feel like I'm living in a normal house and not struggling in an apartment. And there's always food around. But obviously I can't do what I really want. I can't leave glasses around or stuff like that. And so it's tough. It's just like when you're back at in high school. I haven't had a normal 40-hour work job, and it's going to be very rough. Very rough.
I know a lot of people that left the floor. They're not doing as well as they were. I am down right now, but I'll be fine. Overall, am I happy? You know, things aren't perfect. They never are for anybody. Nobody's life is perfect. All right, in we go. I would love to be passionate about something in my life, but change is really not it. When I walk away from the floor, I'm not dying to get back to the floor. But who knows? Maybe I'm a beach bum. I could be anywhere in 3 years, is the answer.
I wish I didn't have to stay there another day, honestly. The only reason I stayed is because the money's so good and the hours are so short, so I get to play with my son. What is that? And I get to teach him, and I get to spend all the time with him. That's a spaceship, great. But it's not because I like the work. It's purely money, 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 and what do you want me to do for you? How much will you pay me? And that's it. I was blinded by the comfort that this life gives you. And I didn't pursue the things that I really want to do. I was the first one in my family to go to university, and I have my degree in philosophy and literature. I'm really looking for a way back into teaching, into books. But it's obviously gonna take a little bit of a recalibrating of my whole life. Seriously, how do you make an airplane with this? And I want to teach my son and my other future children, I hope to have a little tribe. I want to teach them to do what feels right, not what makes money. If you want to be a poet, writer, teacher, well then do it. Doesn't matter if you don't make a lot of money. Yeah, look, I got a little piggy for you, a little chanchita.
In 2007, the Intercontinental Exchange bought NIBOT and introduced computerized trading immediately. As a result, traders from all over the world began trading coffee electronically. Within a month, trading volume on the electronic system surpassed the amount of commodities traded in the pits.
We knew that if we hadn't prepared ourselves to trade electronically, then somebody else would have, and that was the real threat to us.
ICE bought the NIBOT. The exchanges merged, and the trading's going electronic. A lot of careers are being changed right now.
Is that your crew? All right, well, let's utilize this place while we still have it. All right.
The rumor of the changes everybody knew was coming, but I guess nobody wanted to pay attention to it. And they all hoped that it's just gonna go away.
Things have changed. Things have changed. You know what? I guess you can't stop technology. Although I wish I could.
Wait. Jack, 1.25 bid. Jack, 40 bid. Take it in. Jack, 1.30. One deck at 30? I'll pay 20. One deck at 30.
Mark, we told you 1.25.
Come on, yeah, I gotta go on the screen. Set 21.
It sucks. It's the ruination of commodities in my mind.
What is?
Electronic trading. If this machine makes a mistake, I assume that risk.
I'll give you an example of what happened the other day. I came in, I saw the market was up, it looked like it was going to do better. I went to put a sell stop in. The machine neither asked me or denied me and sold 5 lots at the market. Like that, I lost money. I punched the machine, I shut the machine off.
I guess they all had some hopes that it wasn't gonna happen. It's really strange. It's you put a whole line of people on the train tracks, and you tell them in 5 minutes the train's gonna come, and you're gonna have to get out of the way. And you know, it's 5 seconds before the train hits them, and they still kind of just looking there, staring. That's what it seems like. A lot of the people there seem brokenhearted, like somebody took the ground from under their feet.
It is good for the long run of the markets, for the efficiency. In the end, it's going to shave 1/10 of a cent off every cup of coffee in the world kind of thing. But a lot of really good people, they're really honest, they work hard, you know, and they would never do anything to hurt anybody, are losing their jobs.
About a year and a half ago, I went through a divorce, so I'm a single guy now. I never really made it big, you know, I made it to a broker because I really never had that kind of money to buy a seat or... Now it's hard because we're computerized, you know, and I don't know how long the open outcry is going to be. A lot of people, they don't know how to do this work, and, you know, I have to thank God that I have a talent like this. I mean, It's not a good thing for me to be out of a job and everything, but I think it's a good thing, though, for progress and for people who want to trade from home. I'm happy making other people happy and fixing their homes and stuff and seeing their reaction from it. Another good thing about it, I don't have to lose money.
You know, with change comes opportunity. And so I think there's a lot of people that are going to do well off this.
Friday, I had the best day of my career. I ended up making 20 grand in one day. So the tides are turning.
So right now, the exchange is putting all these classes together and how to use the programs.
I feel like I can step in there and earn money.
130 minute 5.
We had kind of anticipated this coming for a while, so I decided to leave the trading floor and trade upstairs on a trading desk. I moved out of the city with my partner, Nathan. My work days are much different now. Instead of breezing into work at 9 a.m. and leaving at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to have, the 3-martini lunch, it's more like getting up at 5, commuting to Midtown, being at my desk from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., typing stuff into spreadsheets and getting home at 6 o'clock at night. I'm exhausted. It's a much different day. The markets are open almost 24 hours now. Being on the trading floor was like being at a frat party. It was a lot more physical, more boisterous. It was really like being in school again. Trading on a desk is different. I mean, there is a certain amount of camaraderie in an office, but it's more subdued. It's more intellectual. There's new challenges to adapt to, and I'm still adapting. It's only been 3 months. I've already spoken to a few guys who are trading from home and like it and are making money. Maybe not as much as they made on the trading floor, but they're still making money and they like it. I've spoken to some other guys who are frankly scared. They don't know if they can make the transition. It's really kind of Darwin-esque. It's about adapting and surviving or not. I think what's gone is the opportunity for the kid from Brooklyn who couldn't afford to go to college but was very smart and streetwise, who could come to the trading floor, work as a clerk, save up $50,000, start trading and turn that $50,000 into $1 million, and then off he goes. I think that opportunity is being closed off.
What are you going to do? Things change. My forte was coffee, and coffee's done. Maybe I'm a museum piece now. I'll never be a museum piece. Great run. Now we turn the page and move on.